Welcome back to my channel. Happy Sunday if you are watching this on Sunday. Today's video that I have brought to you is going to be titled something along the lines of avoiding the freshman 15. And if that's something you are unaware of or not sure what that's saying is, a lot of adults like to put this in students' heads, or even other students, upper year college and university students, when kids are in high school, or I guess young adults in high school, saying that in first year university you will gain weight. You will have a different lifestyle, you won't really care, your eating habits will change, you're introduced to alcohol, so it's a lot of liquid calories, and I'm here to share my personal experience as well as kind of ways to go about the situation if it is something that you are looking to kind of avoid. And some roadblocks I feel like you can run into and kind of how to work around it, or if you just don't care and want to just entertain yourself for the next 10-15 minutes, by all means go ahead. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel down below, give this video a like, and turn on that bell notification so you get notified every time I upload a new video. So this is a video I actually wanted to film like a year ago, but it was kind of too late in the game to, I feel like, introduce this topic. But I feel like since it still is the month of September, it's still at the very beginning of the school year, students are still getting used to kind of what their food options and menus are like at school, whether it's on campus on res or off campus, and they're kind of fending for themselves doing their grocery shopping. The first tip I'm going to give is honestly to not stress so much about the weight gain. And I know that's easier said than done, but I mean, if you go into university thinking, oh my god, I'm going to gain all this weight, you're just stressing yourself out for no reason. You still want to enjoy, going out with your friends and eating good, delicious food. That is something that brings my friend group together, definitely, and it's just, something we do. Because as much as people stress about gaining weight, I've actually also seen the reverse, and I've seen people lose weight in first year as well. So both can be done. The next tip I'm going to give is now getting into the kind of the nitty-gritty. So if you can scope out the meal plan ahead of time before you go to school, or you're kind of weighing out your options in schools, I definitely took a look at kind of what the cafeteria situation was like at the schools that I toured before making my decision for post-secondary here in Canada. So, I was debating between 2 or 3 schools. So I'm going to be comparing 2 schools in my experience. The 2 universities that I was deciding between at the time was Western University in Ontario and Wilfrid Laurier University, which is also in Ontario, and they both had a different kind of meal plan situation. So I know that Western's there was 2 different ones you could pick, and one was like a smaller meal plan and one was like the large meal plan. Like there was nothing kind of in between, and I'm a bigger girl, I eat a lot of food. The small meal plan was just not going to be sustainable for the whole year, especially if I had to top up with some money on that towards the end. It would have just made more sense to get the big one. So that's what I went ahead and went with. And then on top of that, we had something called flex dollars. So flex dollars were the money that you could use within like the campus. So like Starbucks, there was this bagel place called The Spoke. So that allotted amount of money, which was probably a couple $100s, was allotted to the restaurants kind of on campus and on campus related things. And then you had like your meal plan, which you could use at the residences, if I'm not mistaken. This is also like 2 years ago, so don't quote me if I'm wrong on any of this. Some of this could have changed slightly as well. So I was pretty happy with that meal plan. Now flipping to the other university, I had my boyfriend going there at the time and my close friends, and their meal plan was something along the lines of you could pay for having it for 7 days a week or only 5 weekdays, because a lot of people like to go home on the weekends. So I know that my friends chose the one where it was just like the 5 days, the Monday to Friday, because they did kind of travel more home in the first year of their schooling at university. So my friends had this meal plan thing, and it was kind of an unlimited, I don't want to say transaction, but basically you could put as much on your tray as you would like, and then you would cash out. So whether you had just an apple or you had an apple, banana, sandwich, chips, I'm pretty sure that's how the transaction would go through, if I'm not mistaken. If I am, I'll try to insert some type of clip and get some clarification, but that's how it was as far as my understanding. So it's kind of get as much as you want on the tray, and then you pay this one fee through. Westerns, it was you paid for whatever the piece of food was. So whether it was a salad, that was done by weight, so they weighed it out. You know, fruit cup, they would weigh that out. A sandwich, they would weigh that out because you could kind of build your own sandwich. So theirs was all on depending what you purchased. They would rack up. So those were the two meal plans I kind of compared against. So an extension onto the meal plan thing is the Western University cafeteria. They had a cafeteria in every single res, which is amazing. I don't know how many other schools do that. I don't think it's super common, because I know Laurier only has one or two kind of eateries and everyone goes there. So I'm sure that's a lot busier. So the residence I was in was Perth, and there was another residence right across the street, which was Ontario Hall. And Ontario Hall was just bigger. So they had more options, they had more, like, you know, space for like a salad bar and stuff. So even in the cold, I would actually walk over there and use their salad bar, their fruit bar, their sandwich bar, because that stuff was kind of always open. And within those kind of salad bars and stuff, you could really, you know, test the limits with what you wanted. You could go completely the healthy route, or you could just not and add a bunch of sauces, and it was like a build your own. So it was up to kind of your discretion on how you wanted to build your meal. Nothing was wrong with the cafeteria in my own res that I was living in. I just liked going to the Ontario Hall one, because why wouldn't I walk a couple extra minutes to get better food options? Or, you know, having grilled chicken versus fried chicken, like they just had more options like that, and to me that made all the difference. And I also started to slowly get more serious with the gym at this point. I wouldn't say I was at my serious level yet, but I was, you know, working out very consistently and was trying to kind of enjoy what I was eating, but I was watching my weight as well, for sure, because of this Freshman 15 thing that everyone pops into your head. So at the other university, I'm not really sure how their food thing was laid out. I don't know if they have a salad bar. I'm sure the stuff that they have is good, but I know that it's not like the top rated university cafeteria in Ontario. Neither is Western's, actually. I'm pretty sure it's Guelph's, if I'm not mistaken, unless that changed. Yeah, I really encourage you guys to kind of go scope out the options that you have for meal plans, especially if you have dietary restrictions and you're vegan, stuff like that. It becomes to be a little bit of a harder process when you don't have as many options to kind of build your own meals, you know. Of course they had like omelet night and like pasta, they had fajita night, like it was awesome. You just really had to kind of gauge what you're gonna eat throughout the day, because it was so easy to just go overboard. And on top of that, when your friends just want to go down for like a late night snack and you didn't even really want to eat anything, you just kind of were tempted, at least I was, because everyone's sitting there for like half an hour to an hour with just like junk food. Like it was kind of like you get like a plastic bag and then you fill it up with like chocolate covered almonds or like Reese's PC M&M things, like all kind of like junky stuff like that. So just be wary of kind of what you're picking out and how many times a day or week you're doing that. The next tip I have for you is just know the cafeteria hours. So that was something I kind of had written down on my schedule that was on my wall, like Monday to Friday they open and close at this time, and then they have like late bar hours, which are open till like 11, I want to say. I think there was only one cafeteria that was open 24 hours, if I'm not mistaken. I really can't remember. So just get to know the hours. There's like a random hour in the day in the middle, like 2 to 3, where they were closed completely. So if you had a later class and came back for like lunch or a snack, you'd have to wait for them to reopen, because they'd be doing their changeover with food. So kind of just knowing when to get your food, or if you have to store it in your fridge, just know the schedule. The next thing that we had at our res, so at Western's, is we had these takeout containers. So you would give them $5, and then at the end of the year you would give them the container back and they give you your $5 back. I'm pretty sure that's how it went. We had two sizes. They had like a big kind of like lunch open and closed container, and then like a smaller square one. So I'd use the square one for like fruit, and then I would use the larger one for like rice and chicken and like veggies, or I would do a mixed salad with chicken tossed in. And those were honestly, I kid you not, a game changer for those long days of class if you didn't want to be spending all of your money on campus, because things aren't normal price like Tim Hortons, Subway, like they're going to be full price items. At res, this stuff was a little bit cheaper, so if you just kind of pack that up in a container and then just put it in your lunch bag for the day, then you were set. I would pack, I think I would eat lunch, I'd get up, get dressed, eat lunch at the caf, pack my dinner and snacks, and then I would be in class till like 8 or 9 o'clock, and it's also super convenient when, you know, the cafe is closed and you know, like, okay, I might want a snack later, so I'll put this in a container, put it in my little mini fridge if you have one in your res, and then you can snack on that later as opposed to some unhealthy chips or something that you have sitting around in your dorm room. I know some reses have stipulations in regards to like bringing a mini fridge or a microwave or toaster or a kettle. Like, there's just, it's a gray area depending on the school. But I know somebody that had like a NutriBullet, and they had that all throughout first year with them. They had like a little section of their fridge that had a freezer, so they'd have like some yogurt and like a small bag of frozen fruit. Now that can get expensive. If you can get like a Costco bag of frozen fruit and then just have like that yogurt and stuff, you can just make your own smoothie, and there's just like a quick and healthy nutritious snack, or I guess it could be a meal supplement depending if you put protein powder and such inside. And I thought that that was super useful. I never had one for first year, but I know a few girls that did. Now I currently have a Ninja, which is the greatest thing ever. The next tip is to keep healthy snacks within your room. So I had things like hummus, I had carrots, I had cereal and unsweetened almond milk, and then I had ground up coffee, and I had a coffee maker, I had Splenda, I think I had some apples, some granola bars, protein bars. So I had a little bit of everything. It's more just like snacks. I had the healthy peanut butter, like the all natural, because I don't think the cafeteria had all natural peanut butter, if I'm not mistaken, but they did have almond milk. So I was just being extra prepared. I wasn't sure what the schools were gonna have and what was gonna cost an extra amount. So it is nice to just have those things kind of stashed in your fridge or cupboard. Those days that you do want a snack, but you don't want to be going down to your res cafeteria and spending your money off your plan for that stuff. So on that note, I had breakfast in my room almost every single day, unless it was like some fancy like waffle morning or something, then I would go down and eat that. But for the most part, I had the cereal in my room, and it was just quick, and I didn't have to waste time going to the cafeteria downstairs before class. The next tip is to set yourself a schedule for the gym, and this one was really important to me because in university you get so much heavier of a workload, and time management is literally everything. So for you to kind of plan out your week, I have like a short-term, long-term planner. So I schedule for the day, schedule for the week, schedule for the month. Anything beyond that just overwhelms me. So I schedule in when I'm doing readings, how long I'm gonna kind of take breaks for, when I'm gonna have lunch, and then I would schedule in when I was going to the gym. If I was going with a friend, we try to accommodate that out. We'd like maybe do some homework, and then as a break we would go to the gym together. So set yourself a schedule of when you're going to go to the gym, and I think just trying to follow that to the best of your ability, then you'll be fine. I already kind of touched on this one, but keep a kettle and a microwave in your room if you can. It's really easy for like oats, if you're trying to do like oatmeal, and a kettle just easy for tea at night. And then the last tip is alcohol consumption, and this one can be quite it can really rack up the calories, let me tell you. Just be kind of mindful, I guess, if it's something that you want to be mindful of. Like if you know a beer has a certain amount of calories, is there something you can sub out for the day instead? Or is there like a lower caloric drink that you can have? You're gonna have fun, you're gonna go out multiple times throughout the week, especially in first year. So you just really need to, I'll give you an example. I would eat a very, very heavy meal, like a steak with mashed potatoes, gravy, some like grilled veg, maybe a salad or some fruit, and that huge meal would be sitting in my stomach, and then I would go out and drink. And it was just like the most uncomfortable, bloating feeling that like you could really have, and the next morning you just feel like really lazy and tired and fatigued. So just I kind of adjust my eating a little bit if I know I'm going to go drinking that night. You know, I don't try to have the heaviest meal I can before I go out. You want to make sure you do have food in your stomach because you don't want to get sick or too intoxicated and not have enough food flowing through your body. But yeah, just be mindful. Know how much you're drinking. Know how much on a caloric basis, if that matters to you, that you're, ingesting. So those were all my tips for how to avoid the freshman 15 when you are first year as a student in university or college. I really hope that these tips helped you guys. A lot of them did come from personal experience and things that I saw around me. If you just try your best at the end of the day and you're not so stressed about it, you will be fine. Enjoy your first year. Don't think about food as everything, but these are just some tips to help if it is something that you want to be mindful of and put into motion for the year. I will see you guys in my next video, and leave a comment down below of any future video suggestions that you would like to see me film. Bye guys.